This is MainOne.
All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the very first edition of MainOne webinar, which is themed Optimizing Business Operations with MDXi Solutions. As you may be well aware, MainOne has established itself as the gold standard within the technology space. And so we've organized this webinar to be able to expose the community in the technology space with some of these solutions, which would be beneficial to your businesses. My name is Sule. I work with MainOne, and I will be your host for the event. We know you have regular schedules, very busy schedules that you have. However, you've made time to be a part of this knowledge sharing event in order for you to be able to apply them within your business spaces. We trust that at the end of the program, you would pick up some solutions to use within your everyday business operations to make your businesses future ready and also boost your operational performance. This webinar is going to be quite interactive. We have our in-house resource person who would introduce some of the solutions which have been delivered over time and can be delivered as we go into the future to various companies and organizations, ranging from telecommunications to large and small businesses. There's also going to be a panel session where our panelists will discuss the solutions which had been introduced by our resource person. And then you'd also have the opportunity to ask any questions or make any comments based on the presentations that have been made. There's also an opportunity for you to win for yourselves some very exciting MainOne gift. So please keep your notes pad close and put a note down or two. And hopefully you should be a part of the winners at the end of the session who will take home some very fantastic prizes from MainOne. There's going to be some ground rules for this event. we would mute all participants on entry. However, our chat box is open. So as I mentioned earlier, should you have any questions, please feel free. It's supposed to be quite interactive. So please feel free to drop your comments or questions in the chat box, and our online resources would pick them up and they would be appropriately answered. At this very point, please give me the opportunity to introduce our very own head of sale, Rashida Abdullahi, to give us the welcome address. Rashida, please.
Thank you, Sule, for the introduction. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rashida Abdullahi, the head of sales for MainOne Ghana. A warm greetings and welcome to everyone. I hope you are safe and in good health as you join us for the maiden edition of our webinar, dubbed Optimizing Business Operations with MDXi Solutions. Thank you to everyone for taking time off your busy schedules to join us here today. We are always excited to learn and share with our stakeholders and partners as we continue to improve upon our work across the various industries, which is very, very necessary. While the repercussions of COVID-19 threatens to dismantle many recent development milestones, the financial sector industry and other industries in Ghana have adopted intelligent technologies and digital infrastructures to power and optimize their operations. The demand for digital infrastructure in connectivity, co-location, and cloud services makes MainOne and MDXi your prime partner. We have expanded our portfolio with many benefits and other better benefits positioned to serve these rising needs that are coming up. It is worth to also note that MDXi is our data center business with 4 data centers across the West Africa. One in Ghana, that is at Apollonia, 2 in Nigeria, and 1 in Ivory Coast, providing access to all leading internet exchanges, network providers, and ISPs in the West African region. MDXi offers a variety of co-location, cloud, and interconnection services delivered via world-class infrastructure with the recent world-class infrastructure. With the recent acquisition by Equinix, which I know we've all heard about it. If not, we've recently been acquired by Equinix, the world's largest digital infrastructure company. So we are now globally connected worldwide. But today, we will be discussing the benefits of co-location, cloud, and cloud connections to businesses within the financial sector industry. Thank you for joining us once again and enjoy the session. Sule, over to you. Thank you.
All right, great, Rashida, thanks for the welcome. And I believe that our panelists and our attendees are very much comfortable for us to begin the session. I would usher in John Akaku to give us some insight into new technologies, technology that we are seeing, new frontiers of the technology that we are seeing recently, and how they will be of benefit to the customers. John Akaku is our head of sales. He's been with us since MainOne started, and he's built a lot of solutions for our many customers. These solutions, he would expose some to the session for us to adopt going forward into our businesses. So John, please, you can proceed with your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sule. Good morning to everyone. Welcome to the first of our MainOne MDXi FSI webinar. I will go ahead and share my screen so we start the presentation, please. Okay, so this presentation themed optimizing business operations with MDXi data center services will take us through what is currently pertaining within the financial services in terms of trends. We would also look at how MDXi as a business supports FSI clients to achieve their business goals, and then also why MDXi, you would have to work with MDXi to be able to achieve such goals towards completion. Kindly note any comments and questions down and then send them in the chat box to be addressed at the end of the presentation. Let's start with a quote from Deloitte. Deloitte says that financial services firms can overcome challenges by prioritizing digital transformation. What are some of the current top financial services trends that we see? There is a continuing rise in mobile banking as people seek more convenience in banking services. This is resulting in more threats to banking in the cybersecurity space. Thus, it requires businesses to restructure their business models to create new business capabilities and also optimize existing ones. All these are being done with the aid of new technologies within the IT space, i.e. IoT, blockchain, and then also artificial intelligence. What are the key drivers for the above trends? They include customers' expectation evolution. We see that customers nowadays expect more convenience and then also speed of execution, etc. There is also the drive to reduce costs to businesses, and then while doing that, increasing service availability and expanding operational interconnections of some financial services businesses. Whilst doing all this, businesses still have expectations. So what do businesses expect during this? In the space of cost management, businesses are expecting to spend less while deploying more IT solutions. They're also expecting that they will at least maintain or improve the SLAs of provider and end users. This is all being done while expecting that provider will provide them with transparency in their dealings every day. On the compliance front, there is also the need to adhere to regulatory policies. As FSI businesses conduct their everyday businesses deals, the regulator, BOG and the likes, are also bringing about many regulatory policies, including the need for the Data Protection Act and all that, to ensure that businesses work within these frameworks. While maintaining these standards, there is also the requirement for businesses to obtain or at least maintain certifications. Quickly, let's look at what other business expectations are. Businesses are expected to be diverse and then also have special skill sets. There is also the need to support workforce mobility within the space of where we find ourselves now, where most employees are not always in the office. Some sometimes have to work from home or anywhere, as it is the case now. There's all businesses are also expected to innovate and then exploit new technologies, as mentioned earlier, and then maintain support for legacy systems. They also expect that support for non-cloud ready solutions will also be given, and then also migrate and transform with zero impact to their operations, as they cannot afford any down times. Meanwhile, we also want to stay green. So businesses are also expecting that they will have reduced environmental impacts to their operations. So how does MDXi help clients accelerate? We all know we need the digital transformation, but how do we do it? Let's have a look at a few scenarios, customer scenarios that we provided solutions for, and how this could also reflect in your own businesses. The first one, themed boosting digital infrastructure, has a customer who has a customer-centric ability in terms of the service that they provide to their end users. They also rely heavily on technology. They had a goal to set up a bank card issuance system, which is seamless and then painless to their end users. They also expected that they would improve customer experience from using data analytics. Other customer requirement scenario included high IT infrastructure CAPEX, and then also OPEX. They also had energy availability risks, as is prevalent in this part of our world. IT staff non-availability for core solutions was also one of the requirements items within the scenario. And then also regulatory compliance, as I mentioned earlier. There is also the need for there to be IT asset security, and then the need for a complete overhaul of their primary DC and then DR facility. The solution that was presented by MainOne for this client was to provide them with a co-location facility, as you can see here, to be able to house their systems, especially the legacy systems. We also enable connectivity to these servers and then equipment that they had at our DC to the internet, to their local office, and then through an IPLC to the international office. Thirdly, lastly but not the least, we gave them an IPLC/Cloud Connect solution, which gives them a direct connection into the Azure and AWS platform. This enables very low latencies, and later we'll be able to see some of the benefits for such a solution. But what were the achievements made? Achievements include reduced IT infrastructure costs in CAPEX terms especially, and then also improve security for the bank's IT assets when compared to their on-prem setup. IT staff regained time to refocus on core business solutions and innovation. They were also able to interconnect 180 plus branch locations, and they were boosted with uninterrupted connectivity solutions. All of this resulted in growth in digital transaction volumes for the business, as they were able to increase the ease of doing business for most end users. Let's look at the second scenario for a customer that we provided a solution for. So this customer had a need in terms of their requirements to interconnect with their global vendors. And the global vendors had their interconnections as at that time through the Azure public cloud platform. However, regulatory compliance would not allow them to do that since data needed to be in country. So what the solution we put together for them required that the customer had their clients and then also their vendors bring their platform down into the country. So MainOne enabled with our MDXi business, enabled them to be able to have our Azure Stack Hub, similar to the Microsoft Azure platform in many ways, and then also had their vendors integrate on that platform to be able to provide them the solutions that they were already providing them. There was also the need to continue the consumption of these services from the global vendors that they were required to host the services locally on the same platform. Other client attributes included the need for a management drive for compliance, as mentioned earlier. They assigned a project manager to work with our team and then also shared their security policy requirements, which of course we didn't share with anyone else due to an NDA that we signed with us. They also introduced their third-party partners with our implementation team, so we worked hand in hand together to be able to ensure that we deliver the solutions for the customer. Looking at the overall solution that we provided them, it included the IaaS Azure Stack platform, showing all the various vendors that were hosted on that platform. They brought in their applications hosted it on the platform with an upstream connection of about 2 gig. We also enabled interconnectivity to their sites and then also to their remote site through a lease circuit. There was also an IPLC for their international offices. Once again, we enabled direct connection into the public cloud for Azure and AWS using an IPLC, or in other words, a Cloud Connect solution, which ensures the low latencies for cloud solutions like AWS and then also Azure. The achievements that were able to chalked for this solution were that 5 global providers were able to localize their solutions and then also improve generally their performance for their client solutions due to the lower latencies that were offered. I mean, instead of clients being able to access the platforms and their vendors that were upstream, outside the country, now they were being co-located in country and then having lower latencies and speed of execution for businesses. All this contributed to a cost reduction and then also reduce forex pressure on their business, as now they didn't have to pay in forex currencies for the vendors who are now locally providing them services. The last but not the least solution included a core application support for a client. The specific scenario that this client was in was that they were approaching their technology refresh with a cost reduction mandate from their board. Looking at this, these things pull in 2 different directions. One, you want to reduce costs, but you also need to buy new devices, which are usually very expensive on the CapEx side of things. So they had to do an extensive assessment of possible vendors that they could work with. They eventually ended up working with MDXi as their local cloud provider, using, once again, our Azure Stack platform. And we're able to work with them to migrate their systems. But there was a need for it to be done in a phased approach because they had different end-of-life dates for their legacy systems. Other client attributes included that they needed to openly collaborate with our MDXi solution architects. And then there were also the need for them to have very high performance for their solutions that they will provide for their end users. And then the requirement for legacy specialized support system. Then very importantly too, they also had a need to have a 0 outage tolerance for their solutions. The solution that was eventually presented to them is as shown here, giving them the IaaS solution on our Azure Stack platform within the virtual environment. Again, with the upstream connection of about 2 gig available. Then we enabled interconnect through to the high performance cluster, and then also a direct connection to their office for management of services. They had the internet connection, so they could also be able to manage the services that they have on the Azure Stack platform. What are some of the achievements that were achieved for this particular solution? The business were able to secure extension of their networks based on the phased migration of the delivery that we offered them. And then also they were able to now have an OpEx model for all subscribed services. And this was also clearly visible to their board, who were very key on cost savings for the business. Now let's look at why you should partner with MDXi to be able to help you achieve set goals. First, let's look at who we are. We are an Equinix company, and arguably West Africa's preferred digital infrastructure service provider across the region. We deliver data center services and then also have partnerships with world-class broadband connectivity providers. All these enhance efficiency and profitability for our businesses. We also have interconnections for telecom operators, ISPs, large enterprises, and then government institutions, as well as small businesses, all within West Africa, and then enable connections for them to the world as well. Let's look at our evolution from 2010, when we launched, to the present. So when we launched our submarine cable infrastructure, that was in 2010. Fast forward to 2015, we did launch our MDXi Lakey Data Center, and then also had the IaaS cloud enabled as well. A year later, we launched our key cloud services, Cloud Connect, and then Disaster Recovery as a Service. Beyond that, in 2018, we extended our submarine infrastructure into Abidjan and then also to Dakar, where we partnered with Orange Telecom and then also launched the very important WAFIX, West Africa Internet Exchange platform. The launch of the data center and co-location services in Cote d'Ivoire came in 2019. 2 years later, we also launched our very own MDXi Apollonia data center. I must add, though, that MDXi and all the other DCs have had 100% uptime since launch. This year, we're acquired by Equinix, as you may be aware, and we have also launched a very new MDXi DC2 within Lagos, Nigeria. Let's look at a snapshot of what our infrastructure looks like, i.e. the MDXi ecosystem. We are the #1 most certified DC operator within West Africa. And then also have 4 Tier 3 certified DCs across Ghana, CIV, and 2 within Nigeria. We also interconnect with 56 plus carriers, network providers, ISPs, gateways directly, and then also interconnect through fiber infrastructure. I must add that we are carrier neutral, so our interconnections really do not need to be just from us or anyone else. We allow, the ecosystem allows for any operator with that infrastructure to bring it into our data centers. We have 1,200 plus kilometers of metro fiber on our network across our locations. And then also 106 plus customers on our network. These includes networks, enterprises, financial institutions, cloud providers, content providers, and then all hosted within our facilities. On the internet exchange front, we interconnect with WAFX, Links, Gigs locally, Civics, IXPN, and then AM6 in the, that's Amsterdam Internet Exchange upstream. This is just a snapshot of all the certifications that we have. Let me talk quickly on how our cable infrastructure looks like across the sub-region. So we have presence in Ghana, Nigeria, and Cote d'Ivoire, as mentioned earlier. We did an extension into Senegal, and then down into Cameroon via the NCS cable. We also have interconnections in-country, inland into Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Chad, and then also Central Africa Republic. Let's quickly look at what advantage MDXi brings on. We offer lower latencies, lower and transparent costs, and then also assist our businesses and then clients to be able to adhere to regulation per the solutions that we provide. All this help improve performance. We don't stop there. We also provide high performance with support to the legacy support systems that clients may have. We also help to standardize global cloud OS by the deployment of our Azure stack, which is very similar to the Azure platform that is offered by Microsoft. We'll later look at some managed services that we do provide on our network, which is also an added advantage that MDXi provides. Let's quickly look at what our data center portfolio looks like. Looking at it from the top down, we first start off with the co-location services that we provide, which includes rack co-location, cross connect, open connect, and metro connect, and all the other solutions that are physically available from our DC infrastructure. Beyond that, we go on to offer more managed services to our clients, which includes monitoring, availability management, configuration management, and the likes, so that you can have more time to do your core businesses while we aid you with these kind of services. We also go a step further to deploy our own cloud, which we currently have the Azure stack in Ghana, Azure stack in Nigeria as well, and then also the more advanced Azure stack HCI. All these offer very high performance for clients' solutions. Another important solution that we provide to our customers include the express route and direct connect services into the Amazon Web Services as well as the Microsoft Azure. What next? We would want to work together with you as we work to conclude and then close the engagement that we have with you. For this, we'll ask you to talk with your account manager who have been assigned, or feel free to put in any questions that you have in the chat box as mentioned earlier. Also, you can contact us on our website, www.mdx-i.com, and then also send us an email on info@mainone.net. Thank you all. I hope I was helpful, and we'll be able to work with you to be able to extend more solutions to you as has been shown this morning. Over back to you, Sule. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, John. Indeed, you are very helpful. I believe the participants have picked up an item or two which they would adopt into their businesses. You mentioned about MDXi, which is the cloud and co-location business of MainOne. Our data center is at Apollonia, and that is where these services are delivered from. We do cloud solutions, co-location solutions, as well as the regular connectivity solutions. So we believe that the participants will pick up some of these solutions and move their operations from the Victorian age sort of technology that they are probably at now into the very modern trends of technology. So thank you so much, John. At this moment, I believe it is good time to welcome our new joiners. Please, if you have any questions or comments, kindly drop them in the chat box and they would be attended to at the appropriate time. I would introduce the next session, which is the panel session, and hand over to my other colleague, Ike Amwatin, who is the head of product and marketing for Ghana, to run the rest of the program. So Ike, please proceed.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks once again. A lot of thank yous you will have today. Thanks everybody for joining this webinar. We'll dive straight into the panel session, but before that, we'll want to introduce my distinguished panelists who have made the time and opportunity to join us today. As the saying goes, say ladies first. So I would like to introduce someone who has over 18 years of experience in the internet and business development industry in Ghana, including being the managing director of Busy Internet, Africa's hugely successful internet startup, and being the country lead for Google's operations in Ghana. Highlights of her leadership include launching an award-winning ISP, implementing the Ghana chapter of the World Bank Incubator Program, and launching various products and programs aimed at making the internet an integral part of people's lives. She currently serves on the board of Data Bank, Stanbic Bank, Ghana International School, and the Ghana Domain Name Registry. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome Estelle Akufio Soa, who is Regional Manager for West Africa C-Squared. Hello, Estelle.
Hi, Ike, and thank you for that glowing introduction. Glad to be with you all.
Okay, thank you, Estelle, for joining us. Secondly, I would like to introduce another gallant gentleman who has over 20 years working in technology and cybersecurity. He worked at MTech as a head of IT in Ghana and Cellular as group of systems in Kenya before founding GH4 Hub and Defense 7 Security Limited. He's currently Chief Information Officer and CEO at Ghana Hub and Defense 7 Security Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Isaac Sani Thomas, CEO GH4 Hub Misika. Thank you, Isaac, for joining us.
Hi, Ike, and a very good morning to everybody.
All right, thank you. Thirdly, we'll have another gallant gentleman, one of our own. He is an AWS certified solution architect and security. His core expertise includes system administration, cloud administration, architect, including migration, deployment, monitoring, and security. He's worked at a couple of places in helping businesses transform to the cloud and understanding the value that these digital services have on businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome one of our own, Omachono Egu.
Thank you, Ike, and good morning,
Hello.
everyone.
Welcome. John took a lot of our time, so we'll try and get this done quickly as much as possible, and also to get our audience engaged. Estelle, just to find out, at C Squared, what has been your data center strategy? I mean, in terms of why did you decide to outsource your critical IT services to commercial data to MDXi? Can you help us understand for businesses what informs such a need and usually what the journey is like?
Sure, and good morning again to our audience that are with us. And so, yeah, I guess my answer is a little different since I'm speaking from the perspective of C Squared, which is an open access broadband infrastructure provider. So my answer is a little different than if we were speaking to an enterprise or a direct service provider, you know. But the data center boom is well underway across Africa, and we really saw it kicking off in South Africa, and we're seeing West Africa picking up strongly today. And I just want to congratulate MainOne on your recent acquisition by Equinix. And I think it's a reflection when we have the world's largest digital infrastructure company acquiring companies in West Africa, it's a sign of what is happening here in the West African region. So congratulations on that. And whilst we see the data center boom happening across Africa, we're also seeing a huge growth in digital infrastructure, including fiber, which is the space that C Squared operates in, but also undersea infrastructure. And we recently announced our partnership with the Togolese government and Google to land Equiano in Togo. So we're excited about that. And we're seeing internet exchanges, etc. So all the critical parts of the digital ecosystem are really booming across the continent. But in all of that, power is probably our weakest link and our biggest challenge. And no digital infrastructure or service can operate smoothly without stable and reliable power. And that's why for us, data centers and for C Squared, our strategy is to provide the critical, redundant, reliable fiber infrastructure that all data centers require to make sure that data center customers, you know, can get the service that they need from data centers. So there's no market that we're in that there's a data center and we don't have at least two redundant links connecting the data center. So really for us, data centers are a critical partner. And, you know, we're excited about our partnership with MainOne in Ghana, and look forward to, you know, growing both our businesses together at the same time. I was laughing when you said John had taken quite a bit of time on this call. John takes quite a bit of my time on a daily basis, and Emmanuel as well, your Ghana CEO. You know, so you're a critical partner to us, and we're so excited as we see your business growing. We know that it means we're both growing and being able to meet our customers' needs to the standard level that they require. Thank you.
Thank you, Estelle. Thanks a lot. Isaac, I will come to you so straight away with the same question, but also in addition, I also want to find out, are there regulations in your sector that contribute to your decision to migrate to the data center, in addition to possibly why you're outsourcing critical IT need? Are there regulations within your sector, you as a fintech business?
Yes, obviously. For us, ISO 27001 has been critical. You're looking at defense in depth. Basically, it's all about controls. So for us, it's looking for that partner that has all the controls in place. That makes it easier for us to then go through other regulations. Because if you look at what BOG is doing currently, They're basically looking to see whether you've actually implemented the controls they expect expect you to put in place, because you're dealing with customer data. So privacy and everything that comes with information security becomes very critical. So if we're looking for a partner, when we're thinking about what partner to go with in terms of data center capability, obviously MainOne became the choice for us, because then there was clear evidence of what they had put in place. So indeed, compliance, regulations, these are very critical part of any institution that's looking forward to rolling out financial technology solutions.
Thank you. That's great. To our audience, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat box. We'll definitely pick them up, and then we'll ask as time goes on. Now, another question for you again, Isaac, before I move to Omar. As a financial services, you provide critical revenue generating and collection applications. How has your experience been with regards to high availability, reliability, and scalability with MDXi?
So just before this session, I was having a conversation with our CTO, Miriam, and we were talking about the fact that, look, we've not actually paid attention to the uptime we've had on our database service, but it's been over 800 days. I mean, typically in the Ghanaian infrastructure and the Ghanaian technology infrastructure, you'd hear people saying, look, their database servers have been restarted multiple times because there was some power outage of the sort. But I mean, this is what we get from MainOne. The fact that our database servers can run for years, without any outage. So, for us, these have been some of the very critical points to look at as to why we need to stay with MainOne. Because obviously, Ike, you'd have other data center providers coming over and making sweet proposals for us to move. But then, we look at the evidence of MainOne's work, from the connectivity all the way down to power, again, compliance. You're looking at the HVAC requirements, and MainOne has been solid for us. So there's no marketing gimmick. This is real. I mean, what we're getting from MainOne is pretty real.
Thank you again, Isaac. And yes, I know it's no marketing thing. It's real. Estelle, your smile affirms it. Anyway, so Omar,
absolutely.
I will ask this of you. Cloud adoption for many enterprises takes many forms: private, public, hybrid. But a constant benefit seems to be the switch from CapEx intensive model to a more manageable OpEx model. How important is this to organizations? And are these additional benefits of transacting an OpEx model? Are there any additional benefits?
Oh, yes. Thanks, Ike. Oh, yes. The OpEx model is one of the major advantages of moving to the cloud. So prior to cloud / co-location, what enterprises had to do before was have to bring out CapEx, bulk of money to buy servers. For example, if they want to deploy an application or a website, they have to bring out thousands of dollars, go buy the servers, which typically takes between 8 to 12 weeks to deliver. And then you bring an engineer to set it up, you buy extra softwares and all that. Also, because the server has like a lifespan of 4 years, you have to plan for the resources you need for the next 4 years. So thereby over provisioning. So these are all the challenges that were on ground before cloud came in to solve the problem. So remove the CapEx, remove the over provisioning. Also, you now have to employ 1 or 2 personnel to manage those servers on a full-time basis. And then you have to look at power, you have to look at the internet and all that. But with MainOne Cloud and co-location, what we've come to do is tell organizations, like, you don't need to go spend all those CapEx. You could use the money for something else, marketing, developing your product, which some of our customers today currently save money to do. So their business are growing. Then rather than employing 2-3 people, outsource the entire headache to MainOne. So what MainOne comes to do is, how many servers do you want? What resources do you need today? And MainOne provides that to you. Rather than take 8 to 12 weeks to even purchase, you can have the servers up and running in less than 24 hours. So switching from CapEx to OpEx is one major reason. Time it takes to be up and running as well. And it also gives, what we found out that with this model that MainOne has made available to Ghana, it's made a lot of organizations experiment better, make them deploy applications faster. So time to market, you want to roll out new updates. These are part of the benefits beyond even just CapEx to OpEx model.
Okay, I mean, and that typically is quite important, particularly looking at pre-COVID also, and how businesses had to quickly adopt, shift, and then change, kind of use a lot of collaborative tools to be able to work from home and to be able to get the businesses going. Could you shed a little light just in terms of how the impact was, how the surge was, what it was pre-COVID, and quickly, like when we got into COVID, how it's actually moved the businesses, and what you tell other business will also within these areas, and the possibility that they can actually get to do things now from anywhere and not particularly from one spot.
Yes, thank you, Ike. All right, so pre-COVID, I'll just try to paint a picture. What a lot of enterprises did were to host their resources on premise, have the sysadmin going every day to service it. Other personnel also go into the office and they access the servers from the terminals in the office. At the end of the day, they go home, they leave work in the office. They can't do anything. That is what operated pre-COVID. When COVID happened, the lockdown occurred. What we found that one, personnel could not go to the office to go access those applications anymore because they were more of local. They're not accessible outside the office. That was one. Two, sysadmin could not also go to the office as well to maintain the servers and do patches and keep the servers up and running. So that also made a restriction. Some few organizations that were not prepping to move to the cloud before, it affected a lot of their businesses. But good thing we had some organizations talking to us prior to the COVID saga, and they were in different stages of moving to the cloud. So those that were proactive, that started the conversation when the lockdown started and this whole COVID thing, they're probably halfway through to the cloud. So what they did is move those applications to the cloud, move those servers from on-premise to co-location environment, and made it accessible for their users. To some people, it created another challenge of security. But with MainOne security services, whereby we roll out DDoS, we have firewall, we have VPN, we're able to ensure that even though you move your applications and your servers to the cloud, your users can still access it remotely in a very secured manner. And that's what kept a lot of business up and running. So yeah, that's what we did for a lot of businesses pre and during COVID.
And during COVID, thank you for that, Omar. Estelle, I'm bringing this back to what your earlier comments were. I was actually, and it ties into what my next question is what's your view of a growing data center trend in the financial markets and West Africa generally? Because C-Squared also runs across the region. What are you beginning to see, one, as an infrastructure provider, and two, as a partner with MainOne working with us and being able to support these things? So what is your view of the growing data center trend within the region?
Thank you for that. And I think it's a good question for me, as I also serve on the board of Stanbic Bank here in Ghana. and also on with data bank. And so I think across the world, but not obviously, Africa might have been lagging a little bit. But now our central banks actually require the financial institutions to have robust internet infrastructure or robust digital policies and strategies. And, so things around cybersecurity, data access and data security, disaster recovery, all of these are now mandated if you are a financial institution to make sure that you are able to protect your customers and deliver on the service levels that you are required to by law. So, it makes so much sense, and I think it's already been touched on through the presentation earlier on and the panelists' discussion, how by outsourcing this critical service and infrastructure needs to a data center, it allows the organization to really focus on its core business, first of all. I think there's two real benefits. The one, that it allows it to focus on its core business. So for example, for a financial institution, IT infrastructure and services, that's not their core. Their core is service to their end user, the actual banking service to the end user. And that alone takes enough time to be on top of your customers' needs. In fact, to even be ahead of your customers' needs, so that you can be advancing your digital services all the time and not find yourself behind your competitors. So by outsourcing some of these parts of the business, it allows a financial institution, as I said, one, to focus on its core, which is its customers and financial services. And secondly, which we've already talked about, is the savings in cost. And this move away from a CapEx intensive model to more of the OpEx model. So, it's the thing with trends. And I remember sometimes, it's funny, but a couple of years ago, I found a few people asking, should I invest in a data center? Should I, and I was like, at the time, we just weren't seeing the pickup. And, in the last few years, I know it's been sort of pushed forward by COVID, but it was happening in the world and in the rest of the world. So it was inevitable. It would happen here on the continent as well. And it's clearly a good investment. And I apologize to anyone that I didn't encourage to make the investment back then a few years ago. And so the marriage between the financial sector and data centers, is, I guess, a match made in heaven, and it's inevitable. It makes absolute sense. And if a financial institution doesn't already have a clear strategy around this, it means they're at risk with delivering on their commitments.
Thank you, Estelle. And Isaac, I realized you were nodding at Estelle when she talked about wanting to stay ahead of technology and wanting to be able to serve your customers. So for you also as a fintech within this space, and I know we've been working with you for a while, and trying to be ahead all the time. What's the trend now like for you? How are you seeing it within your space as well?
Just as Estelle was saying, we get to realize that the institutions that unfortunately don't have, business continuity plans or even the infrastructure to get that hosted. This needs to change. And so what we're recommending, because that's what we are doing as our strategy, is having a hybrid solution. So, you'd go to most banks and then they're hosting in-house, they have on-prem services. And what we are telling them, which is what we are doing, is to have a mix. So you could co-locate, and then you could host part of your infrastructure in the cloud. Fortunately, most cloud providers are now offering PCI DSS compliant architecture. And so if that becomes a concern for financial institutions across Africa or even in West Africa, then you'd want to work with partners that are able to get you PCI DSS compliance, because usually the fear is that, look, if we go into the cloud, we might have data loss issues, or we might have someone stealing data from us. And so usually that's the misconception. But then if you look at the fact that AWS has been able to move to South Africa and then other African countries, obviously means we're working towards that goal where eventually, as a continent, we will be able to support all these different concerns or address all these different concerns and misconceptions about going into the cloud. Because till date, unfortunately, you talk to some technology heads in some financial institutions, and it's the same, old mindset, like Estelle was saying, the fear of what's going to happen if they move into the cloud, because it's someone else's computer, as we say in cybersecurity. But then it's someone else's computer with controls put in place to ensure that customer data is secured, is safe, and that we have the level of availability, because that's usually also another concern. And so if geographically we have infrastructure very close by, then we can ensure that level of availability and that level of security as well.
Thank you, Isaac. And just to add to that, MainOne's Azure Stack platform is in country, and then you're able to work around your data sovereignty requirements if you actually pick up our cloud service with us. But Omar, let me quickly add this to that. In adhering to compliance requirements such as data acts, local content, can you give an example of the availability and performance you have seen customers have on our Azure Stack platform? Because we know that one, it takes care of your data sovereignty needs, where you're on cloud, but of course it's local. And then what other benefits are there if the customers require more? Omar?
Thanks, Ike. All right, so beyond the benefit of OPEX and the benefit of security, just to mention, MainOne is certified ISO 27001, ISO 9001. We have PCI DSS certification. We recently got our SOC 2 certification, and I can say we're probably one or two in West Africa that have that certification. So certification security is very key for MainOne. We take that very seriously. So security is one of the benefits people enjoy from moving to cloud and our colocation services. Uptime, like Isaac did mention, 800 days. He hasn't have downtime on the servers. Since we turned on our Azure Stack infrastructure, very similar to public Azure, same operating system and all that, it's never gone off. So all our users on our cloud platform today that we've deployed on that service have been enjoying 100% uptime. Even though we plan for, there's some few, we plan for emergencies. So we have multiple level of redundancies on all our infrastructure, from power to cooling, even on the server itself. Our Azure Stack can withstand failure of multiple nodes and all that. So yes, redundancy, 100% uptime is what we've been able to achieve so far. Kudos to the team. Security, OPEX model. For service organizations that have bulk of their users, visitors or users resident in Ghana, load latency again is another advantage. So if you host, you're putting the server closest to the users with the OGIX traffic local, so it's more faster for the admins and also for your customers as well. So a whole lot of benefits that we bring to the table.
Thank you, Omar, for that response. Like I said, John took a lot of the time. I'm still taking a lot more. But in wanting to wrap it up for all three panelists, what would be sort of the word for businesses who have a slight hesitancy towards adoption of digital services to improve business efficiency? Like we have Masika, we have C-squared. We have, so you are key players in that industry. You're key, you have a role to play, and also that level of awareness. So what are we telling everybody in the adoption of these digital services, be it co-location, be it cloud services, and be cloud connect services, which helps you with the direct peering to your cloud infrastructure. And so the last question will be, I'll take a word from each panelist in terms of what they'll be telling these businesses about adoption of these digital services. We'll start with Estelle, we'll take Isaac, and then we'll take Omar for a close. Ladies first. Thank you.
Ladies first, except when there's a lion on the other side of the door. Thank you very much. So yeah, I think for my final word would be, you know, every organization, no matter what size you are, should have a team of people that are mandated to be brainstorming, researching, and coming up with the organization's digital strategy to make sure that the company is able to embrace where digital is going and stays relevant in today's world. And you might be an organization that is small, maybe you don't actually have your own IT team, but I think you should still have, as I said, set up a small team of people that are researching, that are definitely would know IT people and other organizations that can help come in and help them think through organizations like ourselves, because you have to play a role in growing our customer base. And that's why you're having this session today. It is about educating people and letting people know that we're here, we're knowledgeable, you know, we can help them make these important decisions to keep their businesses relevant and sustainable into the future. So if you don't already have a team that are thinking about your digital strategy, you should. It's critical. And so all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Estelle. Thank you very much. Isaac.
Yes, so I think it's about having a very open mind when it comes to infrastructure, because that's, I mean, obviously what the greatest concern is. And so having an open mind, being able to talk to more professionals, you know, I think usually the fear is how much will we be charged for talking to a consultant? But I think there are lots of people within the industry who are willing to give, you know, free information, free advice. And so we should have that open mind, talk to, you know, providers, of course, talk to MainOne, get all the, you know, all the different perspectives, you know, as to what will fit you, because there's no one size fits all type of solution for any particular institution. Every institution has its own needs, but for businesses, you'd want to focus on what your core mandate is, your products and your services, and then allow those who have expertise in other areas, whether it's in infrastructure, to do that as well. So you could deliver much better to your clients and then to your customers.
Could have said any better, Isaac. Thank you. Omar, we'll take the last word.
Thanks, Ike. So I would say for businesses or enterprises that are still, you know, hanging on the fence, my advice to them will be, you know, just jump, take the leap. Just like the internet, when it came, a lot of people were skeptical. Should we be doing it? Oh, it's, you know, it's not gonna last and all that. But here we are, everything is connected, from our cell phone to my light bulb in the house to my AC, everything is connected, IoT and all that. So it's inevitable. Just take the leap of faith. It might be difficult, but that's why we have certified cloud engineers in MainOne. Just reach out. We're just gonna have a chat. You don't even need to think of buying yet. Just reach out to MainOne, MDXi, that's certified solution architect, who is gonna jump on the call, 30 minutes, 1 hour. Just talk about what you have and let them just give you advice. And this is all for free, so you really don't even have to pay. So yeah, just give MDXi a call.
Thank you, Omar, and tying it into every other thing, like you're saying, like the internet, we're at Web 2.0 now, where we're going to Web 3.0. Everything was connected. Now we're connecting people and places, talking about artificial intelligence, IoT, blockchain. Now we're talking about metaverse. So I think you don't want to be at that last end of the technology advancement. So like Omar said, leap of faith. Just take that leap, and then I'm sure we'll be fine. We would like to say a big thanks to our panelists who joined. Estelle, there are questions. We'll answer the questions for the guys who put the questions in. But we want to thank our panelists, Estelle Akofio-Sowa, West Africa Regional Manager for C Squared, Isaac Sani Thomas, CEO for GH Hub Sika, and also Defense 7 Security System, and Omachono Ego, Cloud Solutions Manager. They will still be with us and continue the rest of the session with us. But from now, we'll move straight to answering some of the questions that the audience had. Thank you. So I think as question and answer time, while I will try and answer some of them, or I will move some of the questions to the resource persons to talk about them. So I think I have here. Okay. Exciting, lots of cloud strategy and hope to benefit from elasticity of the cloud. At the same time, we are to use flexibility of pay as you go from AWS and Azure. We have similar infrastructure management platform from MDXi. And this questioning is from Anthony Fesu. Omar, can you help or what the plans are going forward? Someone is asking whether about pay as you go, and then whether they can get that kind of management service that we provide as well for customers like that.
Sorry, do you mind reading out the question?
All right. So so the question he asks is, let me get it for you again quickly. Another one. Okay. He says, can you know? There are quite a number of questions. Exciting. Lots of businesses have cloud strategy and hope to benefit from elasticity of the cloud. At the same time, we are to use flexibility of pay as you go from AWS and Azure. Will we have similar infrastructure management platforms from MDXi? Okay, so I get it. The person is asking if they are to use the pay as you go function or service of either AWS or Azure, will they get the kind of support or management that we have in MainOne?
Okay, so I can't talk much about AWS and Azure, but I can talk about MDXi. So at MDXi, what we give, or when you onboard, you have a dedicated account manager, and you have a 24/7 support to reach out to anytime. Even on a Christmas or a Valentine's Day, they would always be available. So that's what I can assure you. All our customers currently enjoy that on all MainOne services. So on coming to MainOne, you would equally enjoy that.
Okay. We will that question is from Tony Fesu. If it's not okay, we'll reach out to you and provide more clarity. One is asking, can you provide a list of last mile partners currently present at MDXi? What special offers are there for smaller ISPs and service providers who are unable to provide their own last mile infrastructure into MDXi? If Estelle was a staff, I would have had to answer that question, but I would leave that question for John to answer. So John.
I think I would give a very biased answer as well. So John,
that's why I'm giving it to John.
Start in alphabetical order.
Okay, John.
Okay, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Yeah, so yeah, we do have various providers present at the DC for smaller ISPs and service providers who aren't able to bring their own infrastructure to the data center. We do have a solution that can allow them to peer into any of our existing POPs. I mean, whether it's any of the locations within the city. So they should talk to us. We can work together. All that will enable will be that they put a node at the DC, a small node, a 5U space. We provide them with power, cooling, and all the data center services. And they'll be able to get that interconnectivity through to able to serve any customers at the data center. And then with growth, they'll be able to maybe acquire their own white space, a full rack, and the likes. So that's what I'm saying. Thanks.
Thanks, John. Fred is asking, looking at the solutions presented by John, I see Azure and AWS being used for some solutions. My ask is MainOne connecting its clients to a local cloud and using AWS or Azure for redundancy? Trying to get a clearer picture. Omar, will you be kind enough to take that question for us?
Yes, thanks, Ike. All right, so MainOne have local cloud presence and resources, which we have. But for each customer, we deploy a custom solution. So we have some few customers who decide to host all their resources in the Ghana infrastructure, and some, due to some of internal policy, they have the primary on MainOne and MDXi in Ghana, and the secondary in AWS or Azure. So we can offer both. Totally depends on your preference.
Okay, Omar. Thank you. Again, someone is asking, Anthony is asking, how does a business justify hosting customer data in the cloud versus keeping data in country? I think the panelists did touch on it briefly in terms of business continuity and ensuring compliance. I think for cloud, most of the time, one of the basic requirements is that the infrastructure where your cloud and your stuff should be in country, so that you're not taking the data out. And then, as was indicated, MainOne has local cloud infrastructure. So if you're on MainOne's cloud infrastructure in Ghana, the data is in country. So I don't know if that actually, if you're looking for a full strategy in terms of maybe a shift strategy from on-prem to cloud, then probably we need to be having another meeting and talking about that. Okay, we have another question here. It's about, okay, fiber infrastructure in Ghana. Is the capacity enough to cope with users, MTNC squared? Well, I think, I don't get your question, but I think I will let Estelle answer. Yeah, there's infrastructure.
Yeah, I actually took a stab at answering that question for Isaac.
Okay.
Yeah, so I said, there's always need for more infrastructure. That's for sure. And I think in particular, coverage is a challenge for us still in Ghana. But speaking specifically to C-squared, where we have coverage, capacity is not our challenge. And so I think all I can say is work with MainOne, and then you will not have any challenges. And I say MainOne because I'm a wholesale infrastructure provider. So whichever organization Isaac works for, I can't serve you directly, but MainOne is one of our key partners. And I think it was talked about earlier, and if I could just give you another plug. I'm always confident when I refer an end user to MainOne that you're going to get a good service out of MainOne. So congratulations for that. I did also offer Isaac that soon, in partnership with MainOne, we would ensure there was a Wi-Fi service available at the Takoradi Airport. So
I saw the Takoradi Airport question, and I was like, okay, wherever there are a few projects that we're looking at, Isaac. So don't worry, like Estelle saying, she's going to give us infrastructure. We're going to bring some stuff to Takoradi as well. Let's look at the questions. Can you please throw light on the fiber architecture to Apollonia DC? John, this is for you.
Yeah, so I think this is similar to what I spoke about earlier. We do have a diverse infrastructure to the Apollonia DC. C-squared is there today. And then we do have other providers too, who have fiber infrastructure to the DC. So as is an open access data center, it's open for all connectivity providers to bring in their connectivity to enable connections for customers at the DC. So that's how it is.
Thank you, John. I think that's about it. We don't have any other question, and I will ask my colleague Emmanuel, do we have any other questions? Or we're good for now? Okay, so we don't have any other questions from our audience. Now we have questions. We're moving to the session where we have a couple of questions that we're going to ask, and then those who will be able to get them right, we have a couple of things for them. MainOne staff are not included, please. Fastest finger, they do call it. All right, so we'll take a question, and then once the question comes up, you have the opportunity to. Can we have the question, please? I'm sorry about that hitch. There was a slide glitch, and everybody's back on now. So, Shay, can I have the questions roll up again? Hello, Shay.
Yeah, the questions are already on.
The questions are lost. Okay, so we will ask the questions. Okay, all right. The first question: what year was the MDXi Apollonia data center launched, and what is the availability to date? We have 30 seconds, and then we'll move on to the next question. So please feel free to put your answers in the chat box. Our 30 seconds is up. We'll take all answers for this question should be over, and then we'll take our next question, please. What are the services we provide from the Apollonia data center? 30 seconds, please. I'm being told that my count of 30 seconds is too fast, but I think 30 seconds is already up. And we will take the next question. So no more answers for the second question, please. We're done with the second question. Now, can we take the third question? How many data centers do we have across West Africa? How many data centers do we have across West Africa? That's the third and final question, ladies and gentlemen. In 30 seconds, we will close the Q&A session. "30 seconds is up, and then that will be the end of the question and answer section. Okay, so what we will do is we will provide the answers whilst in the back. our admin colleagues checks who the winners of the trivia is. So please show the answers and then let's move. We will show the winners after we've had our closing remarks. So please show the answers whilst we put together the winners, and then so the first question is, Apollonia was launched in 2021 and it's had 100% availability today. So if you got it, you know. The second one is the answer to the second question is, we provide cloud, cross-connect, co-location, remote hands, eyes, and support. If you got it, you know. You mentioned any of them, you get it. Now the third answer, we have 4 data centers across the West Africa region. So if you got it correct and you answered first, you will get the prize. So thank you for your patience during the session as well. Sule. Sule, I think you're speaking on mute.
All right, sorry. I thank you so much for the loaded session. I think it was very insightful, and the panelists did a lot of justice to the theme of the session. We believe that the people and the participants on the call will take advantage of the various solutions mentioned, and they would apply them in their various workplaces. I made an error earlier by introducing John Akapo as the head of sales. I'm not HR, so I can't redesignate somebody. He's the head of technical solutions for Ghana, and I need to make sure that I get his position right before HR sends me a query. We thank everybody for being on the session. For the winners, I wish I was part of the winners too, but unfortunately, I can't be a participant in that. But we are very grateful for your time. I'll hand it over now to our senior manager, Michael Kwaminapo, who is the head of wholesale, public sector, and ISP, to round up the session for us to call it a day. Thank you. Michael, please take over.
Okay, so thank you, Sule. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Sure, okay. Well, thank you very much, Sule. At least you got my designation right. So I'll start this way. So on behalf of MainOne and MDXi, it is my distinct honor to acknowledge and thank everyone who attended this unique FSI sector-specific webinar. I also wish to thank John Akapo for his excellent presentation, which clearly showed how MainOne and MDXi have enabled a substantial pan-regional MDXi data center ecosystem comprising 4 data centers to drive digitalization in Ghana in particular and West Africa in general. I mean, basically, John's presentation can be broken into 2 parts: business cases showing the critical importance of bespoke services provided by MainOne, enabling clients to improve performance and achieve critical business objectives. The second part of his presentation actually served as an introduction to MDXi and highlighted its strengths and world-leading competitive advantages. So these include reliability, cost savings, facilitating revenue generation and collection. Other MDXi-related key points include adhering to local regulations, which is key and critical, and standards, facilitating cloud adoption, and leveraging global connectivity to our world-leading Equinix platform with 10,000 plus subscribers. I need to point out a critical fact regarding the takeover of MainOne by Equinix. This singular action, fellow webinar guests, has catapulted MainOne and by extension Ghana into the top echelons of the global digital ecosystem with associated socioeconomic benefits, increased employment opportunities, empowerment of human technical resources, and productivity enhancements. I'm also very grateful to our key panelists, Estelle Kofi-Osowa, West Africa Regional Manager, C-Squared Ghana, Isaac Stanley Thomas, CEO, Mesika Limited, and Omachono Egbo, Cloud Solutions Manager, MainOne, for their participation, topical analysis, and insights about digital strategy, particularly outsourcing DC services, the regulatory environment, impact of DC services on revenue generation, collection, applications, and the critical relevance of these to the FSI space. Other key points discussed include the possession of relevant certifications, cloud value proposition, DC security, OPEX DC operational model, the benefits of cloud adoption, and an outsourced DC strategy for fintechs particularly, and also the valuable mutually beneficial relationships C-Squared and Mesika have with MainOne. I would also like to thank the MainOne organizing team for working hard over several days to make this webinar successful. I also congratulate all the winners in the Fast Fingers competition, as well as every single participant for their active engagement. Before I conclude, though, I would like to re-emphasize the critical importance of MainOne's acquisition by Equinix, the world's largest digital infrastructure company, which has, in a single stroke, transformed MainOne into a globally connected entity, re-emphasizing our long-standing status as a partner of choice and preferred partner in Ghana and West Africa. Thank you, everyone, once again for participating and making this event a great success. Please keep in touch through the channels which were displayed on the screen and probably are currently displayed now. Thank you very much. Hello, Sule. I think you're muted.
I'm muted, Sule.
All right.
Okay, we quickly want to show who the winners of the trivia are. So admin, please show the winners, and then we'll reach out to them and then we'll give them their gifts. Ooh, Nana Kwame for question 1. Congratulations, Nana Kwame. Isaac Ahenkra, oh, for number 2. Good stuff. That means you guys were paying attention. And Gideon Makui for 3rd question. So that should sum it up. These are our winners. We'll reach out to you guys and then we will let you have your prizes. Thank you again, and thanks to everybody who has been part of this webinar, especially to our panelists, Estelle, Isaac, and then Omar. Thanks a lot, and to the audience as well, and to the winners. We'll see you soon. Thanks, and bye-bye.
Bye.
And do reach out to us. Please feel free, reach out to us via the channels that you will see displayed on the screen shortly, and by trying to reach us also in the emails that we're used to send you. Let's talk, let's engage, and let's help you drive value with your business. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. As
Thank
I
you.
mentioned, you can follow us on the various social media channels: Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. And we can keep the conversation going. This is the beginning of some partnership we can start towards helping you to migrate your services for the organizations that you work with to become as modern as possible. We thank you for the time, and we hope that other sessions of MainOne webinar, you will be available for us to all engage and discuss trend solutions. Thank you so much.